Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of All The Mods 9 with me, GainTek. Today we are going to be looking into getting ourselves a little bit more situated in terms of a base, in terms of getting villagers, maybe a villager breeder, and hopefully get started with an iron farm, just a very simple vanilla compatible iron farm. As you can see behind me, we do have a few things that we have been setting up since last episode, namely these. We have a few drawers here and botany pots on top of them. This one is very nice because it's a hopper botany pot, and all that is simply saying you take your regular botany pot and then you put a hopper underneath it in the crafting grid and you get a hopper botany pot, and that will auto harvest, which is why this one has so many more logs than the rest of them. I have to manually harvest these three, like so. I've been digging out a little bit here and there, and I've also been experimenting with the wood to try and get the layout and the colors that I like going. This is the general layout. We want to have this U shape. I really like this view over here, over the ocean with the beach in the distance. So that is the idea. I'm going to continue working on this, hopefully get a bit of progress made on it. It is taking me a fair amount of time because I am not exactly a brilliant builder. That said, I do try. But okay, I will be back with another update shortly. Just a quick progress update. I've been working hard on getting a bit more set up now with this layout. Quite happy with it actually so far, especially this part. I'm actually really enjoying the windows here, and even though this is not equal, I'm actually enjoying that as well. I added this black border just by using the sand outside. I kind of want the ceiling to pop a little bit more. It's feeling very dark and washed out right now. If you just pass by here, it looks almost black right at the top. And while I do like it dark, I don't want it to just be this black space. So I want to look into maybe fixing that up a bit. I'm going to experiment and try and play around a bit. I think my biggest sort of like design flaw right now is my lack of stone. I don't have any type of brick or any type of stone for that matter. Let me show you at the top here. I was experimenting with essentially just covering the building with the sand so that it looks like it's part of this volcano. And yeah, it is a bit of a pain because it means whenever I want to change anything to the ceiling, there's sand that falls down on my head. So a bit of a flaw in my process here doing the sand already. But I wanted to see what it was going to start looking like. It's definitely not where it needs to be yet, but it is coming together. So I've had a bit of an idea, and I'm quite scared with this idea, but it may just work. I'm going to be going to the savannah because I want to go try and get some acacia. I'm thinking an orange roof might actually be a pretty appealing thing, as well as with these window overhangs. Given this is a volcano and we already have a lot of dark colors here, it might actually be quite a nice accent color to have with this build. Right, moment of truth. Let's see how this is going to look. It is very orange. It is very, very orange. Oh boy, what have I done? Is this a horrible disaster? Not really. Do we like that? It could work. It may be a bit much if everything is it. But I think it's better than the dark oak. Honestly. Let me try some more of this and then we can make the decision. So a quick progress update. I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. Last clip I spoke to you guys, we were just trying out a bunch of these, or maybe just like one or two. I kind of enjoyed this idea, but this is really coming together. I added this skylight, had a ton of just like a hassle to try and figure out what I'm gonna do with this ceiling. Ended up using stairs, combination of acacia and dark oak, all upside down stairs. Wow, they were tedious to place. This corner especially, that was a mission. We have a little space here for more botany pots, and this is going to be primarily storage. Oh, and it's my favorite thing to do. I walk into this lantern maybe like 1,000 times between clips. It's wonderful. But okay, here I have walled off with dirt the last leg or extension to be built still before I am gonna call this good for the starter base setup essentially. I do need a bed. Right now at night I'm hiding down here behind the chests. In addition, however, I do want to potentially take another look at this ceiling now that this one is done, because I like this design so much more than what's going on here now, as well as the lighting situation. I'm kind of liking this lighting setup right now with the lantern hanging from the ceiling, as opposed to something like this. I kind of like that a lot more. I think it's primarily due to the black trim versus the silver trim, going better with this black trim in our build. But I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to have to be playing around a bit with this. So I'm going to get back to it and try and sort out this ceiling, maybe work a bit on that extension, and potentially also this one. Okay, so I've played around a little bit with the lighting. I've got this set up in a way that I'm actually quite happy with it. By now, I played around a lot with the stairs to try and get something a bit better than just this. My only concern with this one is I think it might be a bit cramped to fit something as detailed in, but I will play around with it a bit more. And then I quickly want to show you what I've been doing outside here. I've essentially been marking off an area for the bedroom and ocean view lookout over here. So this is the the area I think I want to be using essentially for 2 beds, one on either side here, and much like the rest of this structure, I want to have it pretty much encased in glass all around. I also dug out a little bit of sand here so that we get a bit of an overhang effect. The next step here is going to be getting in the dark oak stairs around the border. So I've got a whole bunch of planks pre-made already. Let's quickly make a ton of stairs. 42 should get us started, and basically going to be doing this border all around as best possible. Let's see if we can get this one to play along nicely. Not quite. I'm doubtful. So that's going to be tricky, because I would love to get this. Let me play around with this. Let me see if I can get this sorted. Well, good morning, guys. I've been hard at work. Wow, this was a mission. We eventually had to settle for something slightly different than what we had. If you recall, we had the stairs going immediately to the side here, and not first following this edge that they're already on. But doing that, I was able to actually get that type of corner, and also a pretty nice way of placing the glass, because now it's actually all diagonally in line with these logs. Next up is the ceiling. I've been playing around a little. I added these 2 corners, and that essentially gives us a 3x3, a 3x3, and this 4x4. I sort of want to make the little squares or rectangles that I can find as the edges, and then build around or into those squares some detail, and then see what I have left over. Let's try and look at what we can do here. For these ones, I definitely want to make the center block above the pillow a skylight. I'm not happy. So my problem with it is hiding this back border, and it means it's sort of, it gets too close there, and it loses the emphasis. This right side, it feels like it extends out. This side feels like you don't know where this window's top is, and that's what I'm not liking. So I think, for the sake of the video, I'm gonna just keep it as this for now, and maybe when this part is done, maybe that ends up looking like it fits. Maybe your attention is so drawn to this thing in the middle that that doesn't matter anymore. So the strangest thing that's happening with this one, I managed to place these 3, but this stair just doesn't like the one next to it. This one had no problem. It didn't do the same thing here. But what is up with this one? Why, stair? Why? I have found a solution. Yes. Okay, so it seems if we put these corner pieces in, we can make a little square instead of this checkered thing, and maybe we leave them different. Let's see how it looks if they're different, the two corners. Aha. So how do we like that one versus that one? This one is clear that there's stuff going on there on the roof. This one sort of washes away. I think the difference looks bad, so we should keep the same design. And I think due to the restriction of this one and connecting there, we should then take that one. That works. So let's leave it like that for now. And just for reference, I think this base looks pretty darn cool. It sort of just looks like an additional bit of lava in the volcano with the color palette we've used. So that is fantastic. I actually really, really like that. That could be quite cool. How do we feel about this? I guess that works because it's got the same situation all around then. So let's try this the whole way. Quick comment on the episode so far. I am trying to give a right balance of what do we sort of do as just progress updates, what do we do together, and maybe montages and time lapses and things. Those are all on the agenda. Still trying to figure out how I'm going to do the time lapses properly, being very honest here. So we're going to look into those. I kind of feel like these spaces, or this space, needs a little attention now. I'm not sure what we can do here, but I am liking this border. But so, with that said, it does mean that I'm really hoping I've been getting that balance so far. The fact that I've been mostly doing progress updates this episode, I hope you are enjoying also being part of the design rude. Also being part of the design process. I think the ceiling is something that's quite an interesting design process, as opposed to like earlier where I was trying to just place the stairs. That's more just tedious, and this is the payoff. Big whoop. Compared to, something that looks a little bit more interesting. Like these skylights. Got us a lantern here and a couple of fences to work with. Let's try this. Let's see what we can come up with. Yeah, it's very low. That almost suggests we need to hang it straight from the ceiling. What if we put a dark oak slab right there, and then we hang it from the ceiling? That kind of works. That's the right height for this lantern, because we're not going to be hitting our head. We can run freely. I was hoping to connect that and that with the stair, but it's the wrong height for that. So if we do this, we lose all orange, if we want this border all around. And if we put it in, we lose the lantern. We don't see the lantern. So I don't think we have much option except maybe that. How does that look? Does that look better? It might do. I guess the question becomes, could we maybe make these? Yeah, no, then it starts messing with that. I'm kind of feeling, given this lantern is fairly centered here, this might make sense again as skylights. I think that might feel too big. Okay guys, so we've basically been playing around with this for way too long, I think. But I'm actually quite happy with how it's come out. It's looking quite appealing, if I do say so myself. I'm happy with the skylights, I'm happy with the grid so far. And yeah, this is taking up a fair amount of time. I did try stairs, but pretty much it just makes it feel a bit too low. You lose sight of this big room, and I kind of like that about this low ceiling, or this height of the ceiling. Any lower and it's a bit of a problem. But okay, we need to do some other things in this episode. We've spent all of the time building the base, and we need a villager breeder, just a simple setup, even if just a temporary one. But the big thing we do need for sure to just get some tools and resources going is an iron farm. So that's going to be my next goal, getting a villager breeder and then a iron farm built. Alright guys, I think that's going to do it for this episode. We managed to achieve an absolute ton. We built ourselves a base on a volcano, and I took you along with that journey to show you sort of just my design process, how I make my creative decisions. I hope you enjoyed that. And then yes, this iron farm, I spent probably around a week designing this thing. It's based on the design originally by Impulse SV, and I just dressed it up a little. And yeah, I know I told you I don't know how to do a time lapse. That was week 2 of this video's production, learning how to actually get a time lapse going, and I'm genuinely surprised. I'm very, very happy with how it turned out. But yes, we got a whole bunch set up. We got this thing built. I'm so very glad about that. This base is starting to really look like something. I'm so glad that it's actually blending in with the volcano and fitting well. My biggest concern was it's going to look like the sore thumb on the map. It's actually looking very, very good. I'm seriously impressed with it. It's looking so cool. But okay guys, if you did enjoy this episode, please remember to like and subscribe. It's really going to help me out an absolute ton. As I said last episode, being brand new on YouTube, it's going to just help get the people who actually are interested in this content watching the content, right? But okay, as always, no matter what life hands you, just remember, go get those gains. Cheers.